We tend to think of dictators as all-powerful. One man, one voice, one will that bends an entire nation to his command. That is what dictators want you to believe. It is also mostly a fantasy. The overlooked fact: every modern dictator operates within a cage of his own creation. He cannot fire his inner circle. He cannot trust his army. He cannot sleep soundly. The reality is messier. Dictatorships are not machines. They are bargains made between ambitious men who would kill each other if the boss stopped watching. Tojo, Hitler, Mussolini, Stalin. Each one ruled not through love or even fear alone, but through a system of controlled chaos that required constant management. The job of dictator is exhausting, and honestly, most of them died badly. That is not a coincidence. The first overlooked decision: dictators deliberately keep their subordinates weak but competing. No single general or minister is allowed to control too much. In Nazi Germany, the SS, the Wehrmacht, the Gestapo, and the Ministry of Armaments all had separate intelligence services. They did not share information. This is not incompetence. It is design. A dictator wants his underlings to spy on each other. That way, they have no time to spy on him. But the downside is obvious. Coordination becomes impossible. The German army and the SS often refused to share fuel supplies during the Battle of the Bulge. The second overlooked decision is that dictators, tend to rely on a secret police force that's loyal to them personally, not to the state or the military. Stalin's NKVD had, 1.5 million employees by 1938. They were actually better paid than the Red Army, and on top of that, they had the authority to arrest any Red Army officer. The Kempeitai, which was Japan's military police, operated completely outside the normal chain of command. They reported directly to Tojo, and honestly, they could even arrest generals. Heydrich's SD, the intelligence branch of the SS, kept files on every senior Nazi official, including Hitler's closest allies. Those files were Heydrich's insurance. When Heydrich was assassinated in 1942, Hitler reportedly wept. He was not mourning a friend. He was mourning the loss of his most effective spy against his own people. The third overlooked decision: purges are not random. They follow a pattern. Stalin killed his most competent officers in 1937 and 38, then stopped. Why? Well, because he had eliminated the threat to his personal power. The remaining officers were loyal, incompetent, or honestly, sometimes both. The Red Army paid for that at the Battle of Berlin. In Japan, the dictatorship was collective. Tojo was first among equals, not really a supreme leader. The Japanese army and navy, they hated each other and, rarely coordinated. Yamamoto, the architect of Pearl Harbor, was killed by American fighters in 1943. Some Japanese army officers privately celebrated. He was Navy after all. The fourth overlooked decision is that dictators must constantly deliver visible success. Failure is not forgiven. It is, fatal. Hitler's popularity, peaked in 1940 after the fall of France. By 1943, after Stalingrad, he rarely appeared in public. His generals definitely noticed. Mussolini was shot by Italian partisans in 1945. His body was hung by the heels from a steel beam. That, is what failure looks like in a dictatorship. When American MPs came to arrest Tojo, he actually tried to shoot himself. But, well, he missed his heart. He survived the attempt, was eventually hanged in 1948, and, he spent his final years writing a diary. Hitler shot himself on April 30th, 1945. Afterward, his body was burned in a shell crater. The Red Army later found his dental bridge and used it to confirm his death. Stalin died of a stroke in 1953. His successors moved quickly to begin dismantling his secret police apparatus. They had seen firsthand how it worked, and honestly, they did not want it used on them. The study of dictators is not academic. It's practical. Understanding how they work helps explain why some fail quickly while others last for decades. So, here's the lesson. Dictators who share power with a party or a military council, well, they survive longer than those who try to control everything themselves. But every dictatorship contains the seed of its own destruction. The secret police must be paid, the generals must be rewarded, and the propaganda must be believed. When the money runs out, or the generals rebel, or the people stop believing, the dictator falls. And since he has no peaceful mechanism for succession, the fall is always violent. Subscribe to War Machiner and share this if you value history that goes deeper.